Hey, how are you doing? Good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. On West African side and the US side, good morning. Welcome to another time here at the book club. It's what I got to do on Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. West African time, and we pretty much read a book and try to learn from it, do life together through the book, see what's in the book, use our own life experience, uh, to look at it, learn from it, speak to it through reality of life and learn as much as we can from it just to make our life better. Uh, we're in the sixth book we're doing in this series, been doing this. This is our fourth year doing this. We looked at five books before now. We're in the sixth book right now. Uh, the book we're presently looking at is The Good Life. This book was written and released January of last year. You know, was put together as a compilation of the results of a study that has been going on for more than 85 years. Just looking at what it takes to mature, develop rightly as an adult. It's been a study of the human adult development. And they've looked at real life scenarios, even as they build this to understand what it takes to live a good life in terms of its length and its quality, and what they've arrived at from the study is that what it takes to live a good life is relationships, right? Having the right relationships in the different facets of our lives, and not just having those relationships, but having quality relationships. When we do that, then we're able to have a good life, in terms of living long and living well. We are organisms, right? An organism, the intent, the essence of an organism is not found within that organism. The essence of any organism, of which we are as human beings, is found outside of that organism. Everything that takes place on the inside of that organism is for the intent, the purpose of preparing it for the interactions it has with its environment, people outside of it. Same thing, looking at a company or a business. Everything that takes place inside that business is for the purpose of interacting with the customers, the suppliers. That business does not exist for itself. Some people think that they exist for themselves, but what happens is that you disappear, you disintegrate. If you don't know your essence, you disappear, you disintegrate, I think it's atrophy. You lose energy, you lose muscle, you lose power, and you become nothing, you become history. But for as long as you know that your essence is not in yourself, that everything that takes place on the inside of you is for the intent of meeting the needs that are outside of you, then you live forever. You have a renewed energy. So those companies that have died, they died because they lost focus. They thought they were there for themselves because they were making strides. They were doing well. People loved them. They lost focus. They lost focus. That's why I love Apple. I'm a Apple fan. Apple is built on the mindset of understanding that its essence is not found in itself. So it goes on and ahead, looks at what its customers would need and develop it today. He knows that it's not about the fancy that's taking place on the inside of the company, but what it does to things that are outside of it, its customers, its suppliers. And that's why they're doing well, right? But that also applies to us as individuals. We're organisms. We're an organism. Every human being is an organism, right? And we're here for the purpose of interacting with other people, relating with other people. Everything that takes place on the inside of us is to prepare us for that interaction, right? But that interaction will take place and needs to take place. And needs to take place in a way that it is in a win-win interaction. We're not here to conquer people. We're not here to be conquered. We're here to have a healthy relationship with others, where we bless them and we allow ourselves to be blessed by them. That's why we're here. And that's what makes to have a good life, a quality life. That's what you need to have, a quality life, right? So that's what we're learning from the book. And right now we're in chapter 9 of the book. Chapter 9 talks about a good life at work, the good life in the workplace, investing in connections, relationship in the workplace. Yesterday, I was just sharing one of my dear friends. She works in the same place I do. We're talking about different incidents presently taking place in the workplace. And we were just talking, she was just saying, maybe it's best not to make friends in the workplace and all of that. In the power of what we're reading in this chapter. I pretty much said, no, well, you spend a lot of your time in the workplace. You don't have a choice. It's a good portion of your life. Don't let it waste. It's all about you, being making the best of it. Don't let it use you. There are dangers everywhere. Life is risky, right? There are dangers everywhere. Life is risky, but you're not going to, because of the risk of life, not live. You live, you manage the risk. You don't avoid risk, you manage the risk. You don't avoid risk, you manage the risk. I mean, the kind of job that I do is pretty risky, right? We deal with pressure. We deal in a place that one small thing goes wrong, someone can die. But the reward is enormous. So we go for it because of the reward. We don't avoid the risk because there's a reward if we can manage the risk. So we'll manage the risk. We'll stay, we understand the risk, and we then, by our understanding of the risk, conquer the risk. Same thing in the workplace. Yes, they are risky. Some people come there to compete. Some people come there to pull other people down, all of that stuff. But in the midst of all of that, you can overcome. You can use that and ride above it. You don't allow it to ride above you. You don't allow it to conquer you, but you conquer it. You don't allow evil to conquer you. You conquer evil with good, right? And it's all about understanding it and riding above it, because we spend a good portion of our life in the workplace, right? We need to make that portion quality. Otherwise, our life becomes a waste, right? If we're going to be in the workplace, then we need to live it right. We need to conquer it, right? We need to conquer it. We're here to reign in life. We're not here to be reigned by life. We're not here to be reigned in, but we're here to reign in life. We're here to conquer. We're here to conquer. We're not an excuse. We're here intentionally to win. That is our destiny. That is our place. And that's what we're going to be sharing more of, as we go through the session. So this is our second reading into chapter 9. Last week, I couldn't go past just one slide, and I stayed on that and focused on that. And I hope you got the message from that. Today, we're going to hopefully go forward, in this. And obviously, we won't finish today. We'll probably finish next week, or we'll see. Wherever the wind takes us, we'll take it. All right. So like I normally do, I'm going to bring up my slide here and we're going to roll. Thanks for coming along. All righty. So again, it's a book. Written by these two guys. They used to lead at the Harvard school study on this, and they compiled this, from all the study. And so this is our second reading, like I said. So the quote we're using to run this whole chapter is: judge each day by the harvest, not by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you sow. Judge each day by the seeds you sow, not the harvest you reap, right? Be in control, be in control. Be intentional, be proactive. Be intentional, be proactive. Be intentional, be proactive, right? Run the day. Don't let the day run you, right? Be your weatherman. Carry your weather with you. Don't be at the mercy of the weather you meet. Carry your own weather with you. Be proactive, be intentional. Have a vision of what you want each day. and go after that vision. I was kind of sharing during the week. I said, if you don't have a vision of heaven, whether that heaven be spiritual or temporal, and when I mean spiritual or temporal, I'm talking about spiritual is after now when we die. Temporal is in this life. There's a heaven in this life. There's a heaven in this life. There's a heaven after this life, right? Either of those heavens, you cannot enter into them except you have a vision for them. If you don't want it, if you can't see heaven, you cannot have heaven. If you are not seeing heaven, you cannot have heaven, whether it be temporal or spiritual, right? You must have a vision of the heaven you are wanting, right? For you to enter into it, both in this life and the one to come. Nobody's going to get to heaven by mistake. Nobody's going to get to heaven by chance. Everybody that gets into heaven because they choose to. They choose to. They choose to. You're not going to get to heaven by chance. You're only going to get to heaven by choice, right? Again, don't forget the Holy Book tells us that the way to heaven is a narrow road. It's not a broad road. It's a narrow road. That gate is a small gate. It's a narrow road. That means that not everything will go. So if there's a heaven you want to go to, not everything will go. You can't do what everybody does and get to heaven. You cannot be lackadaisical and get to heaven. You cannot be AK Sarah and get to heaven. You must have a vision of it and then know what it takes to get there. You know what you need to do and what you need not to do. You cannot be carefree and get there. You must hold yourself together. You must circumcise yourself. You must sanctify yourself, separate yourself for the purpose of the vision that you have. That's the only way you're going to get to heaven, whether in this life or in the one to come. To get to hell, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be intentional. Just be anyhow. Be looking for harvest here and there. You will get to hell. Because the way that leads to hell is very wide. Everything goes. Everything goes if you are going to hell. But not everything goes if you are going to heaven. Right? So when it comes to ruling your day, right? It's not about the harvest. It's about the seed you are sowing. It's about you being in charge. It's about you being proactive. Because don't forget, wherever you are today, you made an appointment to be there. It was because of the seed you sowed yesterday, right? That is why you are where you are today. The seed you are sowing today determines where you will be tomorrow. Nobody is where they are right now as I am speaking by chance. You made an appointment to be where you are right now because of the seeds you sowed yesterday. You are making an appointment as to where you will be tomorrow by the seeds you are sowing right now, right? So if you're going to have a good life in the workplace, you are going to then be making appointments every day as to where you want to be. That's the only way you're going to have a good life in the workplace, right? And I learned this the hard way. I like to say again, 2016, I got back here from working international, and it was a harsh, harsh environment, vicious environment that I came to. But I was carefree. I just thought it was life. When I worked overseas, it was like, oh, I'm away from home. I had all my guards on, right? I had a vision of the heaven that I wanted, and I entered into that heaven. When I came back, I thought I didn't have to do that. I threw all my caution away. I thought I was back home. I could be carefree. Wow, I learned the hard way. People that are supposed to be my friends are the ones that were after my neck, right? So you cannot afford to throw your caution to the wind, irrespective of where you find yourself. There are evil men everywhere, even in the church, right? Even in the church, right? I used to, in my whole church, I used to, one of the times I got back also, and I was all out trying to help them build, trying to help them have a good study. I even used my money to print a study series. What did I get from that? People after my neck, even in the church. People who felt bad that I was the one doing things. People who felt I was trying to take control of something I used to lead. Not everyone has a vision of heaven, whether the vision here or there. People go to church for different reasons. Some people go to church because they have nothing else to do. They go to church because that's the only place they can go to. Not everybody goes to church wanting to go to heaven, whether it be that heaven here or the heaven to come. So you have to don't assume. So even some pastors don't want to go to heaven. They feel that their heaven is here. So if you assume your pastor wants to go to heaven, you might go to hell with him, because hell is where he has determined to go, right? So if you want to go to heaven, you have to make up your mind as to the heaven you want to go to and pursue it, irrespective of your pastor, irrespective of your friend, irrespective of your church members, irrespective of your friends, irrespective of your colleague, right? The journey of life is first a lonely journey. It's first a lonely journey. It's an internal individual journey, the internal individual decision, because there are disciplines, there are curtailings, there are sacrifices to be made if you want to make it. And not everyone is willing or ready to make that sacrifice. Don't assume. Ask questions when you are in doubt, right? Because not everyone around you has the same focus, has the same vision as you are. As you are holding yourself back, some people are wondering why you are holding yourself back, because they have no vision that you have. For some people, they are only wanting to get off the bus at the next bus stop, but you know how far you want to go in life. So don't miss that vision. Don't miss that vision. Don't miss that vision, right? The road to heaven, the way to heaven is not a wide road. It is a narrow road. It is a narrow road. You cannot afford to throw caution to the wind, right? You will not get it. In the workplace, you'll be disappointed. People will go after you. People will disappoint you, right? You need to hold yourself. Yes, it is good to love people. It's good to trust people, but never throw caution to the wind, right? If you have a vision of what you want to get, keep that vision in front of you. Ask questions. What does it take to get there? What are the things I need to do? What are the things I need not to do, right? For one, you have to be intentional. For one, you have to be proactive. For one, you have to keep that vision in front of you. For one, you have to hold yourself together. You cannot allow your emotions to run riot on you. Today, we call that emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is simply maturity, maturity, maturity. Being in control, being on top of your emotions. Not allowing your emotions to control you. I love the picture I had years ago. There's one of, my company had a merger with another company, and some people came from that company, and this guy came, used to be like a big shot in the other company, and he now comes to this new company, and he had strange expectations, right? He had strange local backward expectations. I gave him something to approve, and I sent him by email, and he expects me to go print it for him. Nah, man, he came from a backward place. If I send you something by email and you want it hard copy, you go print it yourself. I'm not your servant, right? I don't know what he thought, but wherever he was coming from, that was his mindset, right? And I'm not used to that, and I don't subject myself to such stupid things, right? But the key thing is, at the end of the day, when we have disagreements, I'm all emotional about it. I'm all worked up, my emotions are haywire, and it's just quietly talking. It's just quietly talking. A third party that comes to that discussion will think that I'm the troublemaker, and he's not the instigator, because he had his emotions under perfect control. He had his emotions under perfect control. He might be backward. He might not be intelligent, right? He was not intelligent, right? But he had emotional intelligence. He was in control of his emotions. He had something I did not have and I needed, right? Intelligence, while I've always been, but I lacked emotional intelligence because I'm an emotional person. I'm a passionate person, right? And sometimes I allow my passion to run riot on me. Passion is good, but it must never be out of control. You must know when to rein it in, rein it in, rein it in, rein it in, because there are places where passion is not required, right? Yeah, passion is good if it's moving you, but you must know when to rein it in, rein it in, rein it in. Nothing that you have must rule over you. You must rule over every tool, every equipment that you use in life. No equipment that you have, no anointing that you have, no gifting that you have, no talent that you have must have the lordship over you. That is immaturity. Maturity is the ability to use that which you have been endowed with, not allow the things you have been endowed with to use you. A losing proposition is when your endowment begins to use you. A winning proposition is when you use your endowment. Scripturally, the Holy Book will tell us the spirit of a prophet is subject to a prophet. That is the right alignment. Anytime you have a person whose spirit is not subject to him, that is not the spirit of God. It's not a winning proposition. That person is not on his way to heaven. That person is on his way to hell. That person will not succeed. That person will not succeed in whatsoever endeavor that person is in. Because the losing proposition is when your endowment, your spirit, or your talent, your gifting is lording it over you. If you cannot control your talent, if you cannot control your gifting, if you cannot control your endowment, you will not win in life. You will not go to heaven, whether it be spiritual or temporal, because that which you have will take you astray. The winning proposition in life is that which God has given to you must always be under you, never above you. That which God has given to you must never be above you. It must always be under you, because guess what? It is you that will give account for what you have been given. What you have been given will not give account for you. It is you that will give account for what you have been given. What you have been given will not give account for you. Quick two examples. Solomon was the wisest man. Yes. God, even Jesus testifies that nobody has been wiser than Solomon. But Solomon did not die a good death. Solomon probably went to hell. Solomon did not die a good death. His wisdom did not help him, at least in his final days. Why? His wisdom began to rule over him. His wisdom had the better of him. In his wisdom, he began to do foolish things. He was wise, but he began to do foolish things in his wisdom because he did not curtail his wisdom. He did not circumcise his wisdom. He did not rein in his wisdom. He was so wise that he became foolish. Same thing Ahithophel. What is the story we hear about Ahithophel? When Ahithophel speaks like the voice of God speaking, Ahithophel died by committing suicide. He had wisdom, but that wisdom killed him in the final analysis. He had wisdom, but that wisdom killed him in the final analysis. Because whatsoever God endows you with, he holds you responsible to keep it under check. Never allow what God has given to you to overwhelm you. Never allow that which God has given to you to have the lordship over you. He has given to you, so you will lord it over you. Use it. You don't allow it to use you. You use it. You don't allow it to use you. You use it. You don't allow it to use you. We are given endowments to use. We are given giftings to use. We are given talents to use. We are given time to use. We are given relationships to use, never to use us. The moment you start allowing things to use you, that is you're on your way to hell. You're on the way to defeat. God holds us responsible for everything he has given us, whether it be relationship, whether it be family, whether it be time, whether it be work, whether it be a job, whether it be a talent, whether it be a gifting. Will there be an opening? You are going to give account for it. That thing will not give account for you. You will give account for it. So you must always carry yourself in a way that you are responsible for it. You are responsible for it. You are responsible for it. That thing is not responsible for you. You are responsible for it. Let's go back to where I moved off. So talking about, my colleague then, the guy wasn't necessarily intelligent. It was backward, but he had emotional intelligence. He was in control of his emotions. I did not have it then. But that's what you need, especially in the workplace. But not only in the workplace, you need it in life as a whole. You need it in your marriage. You need it in your marriage. You need it in your marriage. You need it in your family. You need it in your household. You must never allow your emotions to have the better of you. You must never allow your emotions to have the better of you. There's never an excuse to be violent. There's never an excuse to be physically abusive. Never. Those are people that don't have their emotions under check. Your emotions is given to you to be used, not to use you. If your emotions use you, you will be on your way to hell. You will miss it. You'll be defeated. You will not win in life. And it's not going to be the devil doing you. It will be you doing yourself. A lot of things I would say is the devil, village people. It's not. It's you doing yourself. If you are not able to use that which God has endowed you with, you'll be a failure. God has given you everything you need to win in life. It's up to you to use it. It's up to you to understand it. It's up to you to harness it. It's up to you to rightly apply it. And in doing that, never to get to a place that that thing begins to use you. So, yeah. So enough of that, and all of this just general spirit that runs through the chapter, as we talk about investing in connections in the workplace, as we talk about living a good life in the workplace, right? And this was about, we spent most of last week. We may not always get to choose what we do for a living, right? Sometimes we don't get to choose what we do for a living, right? But sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't get to choose. Sometimes we do. But irrespective, we need to make it work for us. Irrespective of what life serves us, it's up to us to make it work for us. I'm in a particular situation here. I've been for the last, since 2018. This is our 6th year into it. First 2 years, I didn't handle it well. I was in depression. That last 4 years, I'm doing well. I'm going to praise myself. I'm doing very well, very well. At this point, I'm exceeding. I'm in the 80% doing well, right? I did not choose this life. I did not choose this situation, this circumstance of life that I'm in right now. But it's up to me to make it work for me. It's up to me to make it work for me. There's never an excuse in life. I did not choose the circumstance of life I'm presently having to live right now. But there's no excuse for me to say, because this circumstance of life eats me, therefore poor me, I'll be stupid. It's up to me to still make sure that I reign in life. I reign in life. I reign in life. I reign in life. At every point in time in life, there'll be some things you can do nothing about. There will always be some things you can do something about. God is not going to hold you responsible for the things you can do nothing about. He will hold you responsible for the things you can do something about. God will not open the next door. God will not take you to the next level until you do something about the things you can do something about. We are never helpless. There's always something we can do. And until we do the things we can do, the things we cannot do will not become subservient to us. Until we do that which we can do, the things that we cannot do will not become subservient to us. The way to make the things that we cannot do subservient to us is by doing the things we can do. Someone says the way to have a miracle is to begin to do it in little bits. Do the things you can do. Before you know it, you begin to do the things you cannot do. It's easy to move a mountain. All you have to do is begin to move little stones. Sometimes, one of the things that defeats us is that we look at the enormity of what needs to be done. We focus on the things we cannot do, rather than focus on the things we can do. Life is never about the things you cannot do. Life is always about the things you can do. And there will always be something you can do. There will always be something you can do, because the Creator is a just God. He's a just Creator. He never keeps you in a place where there's nothing you can do. There's always something you can do. And until you do what you can do, what you cannot do will not give way. Again, we'll talk about the sick man, right, at the pool of Siloam. He was there for 38 years. 38 years. Were there things he could do? Yes. But he took his eyes away from the things he could do. He focused on the things he could not do. So when Jesus Christ even asked him a simple question, will you want to be? He said, I have no man. My problem is man. Oh, 38 years. I would have been ill 38 years if only I had a man. If only there was a man in my life that would be carrying me, or people that have no other thing to do but me in their life. Is that not the same way we all talk about destiny helper? Oh, destiny helper, destiny helper. I am poor because I have no destiny helper. Oh, I don't have a job because I have no destiny helper. Oh, I have this because I have no destiny helper. And people are holding us prisoners. They are prisoners because they've taught us a wrong message. 38 years ago, he was looking for destiny helper. Amen. Jesus Christ doesn't even answer his stupid question. His stupid response. He just went straight to the point. That man could have done something. He said, while I was yet moving, then he might as well have stayed. He was in a comfortable place. He did not discomfort himself. He did not prize what he wanted. Because since he could do some, he would have stayed at close to the pool where his son will make a difference for him. Rather, he stayed at a comfortable place until there was a stain of water. Then he began to move from his comfortable place. And before he could move from his comfortable place, people that had more ability than him got it. And he did not learn anything in 38 years. In 38 years, he could have been moving closer to the pool, such that his little effort will make a big difference. Life is never about the things you cannot do. Life is always about the things you can do. That's what's going to make a difference for you in life. That's what's going to bring about the miracles of God in your life. God has miracles ordained in your path, lined up in your way, preparing to come your way. But it needs your help. It needs your part. And God's request of you is to do the things you can do, the things he has enabled you to do. Where you are right now, there are things you can do. And until you do those things, the door to your miracle will not be open. The door to your miracle will not be open. The door to your miracle is opened by you doing the things you can do where you are right now. Stop waiting for man. Stop waiting for something else. Stop waiting for helper. Help yourself. You are given two hands for a reason. Use them. You are given two hands for a reason. Use them. You are given something in your skull between your ears. Use them. Because that is the key to your miracle. That is the key to your next level. That's your key to your elevation. Throw away the excuse. Do what you can do. And the things you cannot do will become subservient to you. So we may not always get to choose what we do for a living. We may not get to choose the card we get served in life. We may not get to choose the circumstance of life that happens to us. But one thing is expected of us is that we can make it work for us. We can make the circumstance work for us. We can make the place work for us. We can make the card work for us. That is our endowment as a human being. When God said, "Go have dominion," that's what he meant. Make the best of what is in your hands, not what is not in your hands, not what used to be in your hand, not what you are expecting tomorrow, but what is in your hand today, right now. Right now is the day, the moment of salvation, not tomorrow, not yesterday. It's not about what was in your hand yesterday. It's not what will be your hand tomorrow, but it's what is in your hand right now. That is what life is asking of you. Make the best of it. That is what moves the key. That's what opens the key to your miracle, to your wealthy place, to your large place. The key to your large place is by doing something with what is in your hands today, right now. Eli Keller would say that we miss opportunities because we're too focused on the door that closed. We're so focused on the closed door, the door that's closed, that we miss the open doors, the new open doors that are opening in our way. That's why a lot of us miss certain life. Someone has not been married for 25 years. Why? Because someone jilted you 25 years ago, and you cannot break off that. Aren't you stupid? You can't break off that 25 years has run, and you have died just because of a common human being. Common human being. You learn the lesson and move forward. You learn the lesson and move forward. There's not only one person that can marry you. There are several people that can marry you. God did not create you for just one human being. There are several people you can marry. Someone jilting you should not stop your life, should not stop you breathing. Learn the lesson and move forward. You are bigger than that. God just saved you from a devil. Why are you crying over the devil that God has saved you from? Why are you making God unhappy that he has delivered you from a demon? And because someone jilted you for the last 25 years, you cannot find another man. Life has happened to you. Make it work for you. Learn the lesson and do better. Don't be a prisoner of your yesterday. Don't be a prisoner of your tomorrow. Be your liberator. Live in the now. Live in the moment. Make the best of what you have right now. Life is waiting for you. Don't deny life. Life is waiting for you. You can have everything you can ever think of, but you have to start from where you are. So we may not always get to choose what we do for a living. We not ever get to choose what happens to us, but we can make it work for us. Right? We can make it work for us. That's within our capability. That's within the realms of possibilities in our part. And you don't need a prophet to do that. All you have to do is rise up and do it. You don't need an apostle to pray for you. Rise up and do it. Having a meaningful job makes us happier and healthier, for sure. Right? Having something that, having something that we like makes us happier and healthier. Having circumstances of life that we like makes us happier and healthier. So let's balance the two together. Having a job that is meaningful makes us happier and healthier. Having circumstances of life that are meaningful makes us happier and healthier. But we don't always get that. But we can make what we get meaningful. Because I did not get something that's meaningful doesn't mean that my life should stop. I should be a prisoner. I can make what I get meaningful so that I can be happier and healthier. Sometimes I get something that's meaningful. Great. I can use it. It's ready to use. But sometimes I don't. Because I don't doesn't mean that that is the end of my story. I can make what I get meaningful. Because until I make it meaningful, I cannot be happier and healthier. And I'll tell you one of the secrets I got to use, I learned. When life happens to you, assume you planned it that way. I once told my wife that and she couldn't take it. But that's true. That's what I do. And that's what God expects of each of us. The Bible says that, it is the will of God for us in Christ Jesus to give thanks in all things and for all things. Why? We can make the best of every circumstance, situation of life. Nothing is a sentence of death. We can make the best of every circumstance and situation of life. Nothing is a sentence of death. Rather, it is a sentence of life. Napoleon Hill will put it this way. It's a heavy calamity. In it has a seed of a greater reward. Something bad has happened, but you can use it as a seed to get something that is better. For one, you can learn the lesson. You can learn the lesson. When you learn the lesson, you become a better person. Nobody prays for calamity. Nobody prays for calamity. And that's why we read books. Hopefully, we can learn about what happened to other people, and we can avoid some silly mistakes, some silly calamities. But irrespective of how much book we read, how much careful we are, we're still going to have our own storms in life. Right? That is part of living, is part of being human. Not every wind you have will be the favorable winds. You will have favorable winds that are not favorable. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of being life. That's part of living. But important thing is that when it happens to you, don't see it as a sentence of death. Rather see it as a seed of something greater that is coming your way. Use it. Use that bad wind. Use that bad circumstance. Use that life happening to you. Don't let it use you. One, assume you planned it. If you planned it, what would you do? How can you ride above this wave? How can you use this wind? How can you set your sail so that this seeming bad wind will also take you to where you want to go to? That's what's important. It's not the wind. The wind will come. But when it comes, don't let it defeat you. Set your sail. Set your sail. Set your sail to use it so that it can get you to your vision, get you to your hand. It's a bad wind, but you can use it. It's a bad wind, but you can ride on it. All you have to do is assume that if you planned it that way, what should be the next thing you do to still get you to your vision, to get you home, to get you to the promised land? You have bitter water. That shouldn't stop you from getting to the promised land. You don't have food. That shouldn't stop you from getting to the promised land. You can use the circumstance of life. And God intentionally allows this to come our way because He believes we can do it. He believes we can use it. He believes that it will help us get where we're going to. Because if we use it right, we'll build muscle, we'll build strength, we'll build capacity. You don't build capacity by having the right wind all the time. To build capacity, you will have winds that you don't want. You will have weather that you don't want. You will have circumstance of life that you don't want. That's how you build capacity. If you don't allow it to kill you, then you become stronger, you become better by reason of it. But if you allow it to kill you, then you become smaller. Life happens to raise you up, to take you to the next level, to build capacity for you, to build strength for you. It's up to you to use it. You might not be in control of what happens to you, but you can use it. Things that have no meaning might happen to you, but you can make a meaning out of it. You can give it your own tune to it, right? Don't forget again, we're in charge of the story of our life. And the story of our life is a messaging we give to our subconsciousness. Life happens, but the way you define that story makes a lot of difference. If you define that story as one that has come to kill you, that's the result you will get. If you define that story as one that has come to give you life, that is what you will get. Because whatever story you define as, you define your life as, that's a message you are giving to your subconsciousness. And it's your subconsciousness, it's your soldier that go out to war for you to bring about the goods that you need and want in your life. Your story is what messages them, directs them as to what to do. Because something has happened to you that you don't want. It's up to you to define it. It's up to you to say, this has happened, but it is for my good. This has happened, but it has come to give me strength. It has come to give me vision. It has come to build my capacity. You define it. If that's the way you define it, guess what? Your subconsciousness will rise up and take up that strength. Will rise up and create that capacity. But if something happens, you say, hey, I've died. Hey, village people have caught up with me. I've been running away all this while, but now they found my number. Yeah, it's because I've not fasted. Oh, I didn't give pastor offering. That's the reason why. Once you do that, you have missed it. You are defeated. Because the message you are giving to your subconsciousness is, don't do anything. We're dead. And that's what it's going to do. Because your subconsciousness obeys you. It obeys you irrespective of what you tell it. If you give it a message of defeat, that's what you will get. If you give it a message of victory, that's what you will get. Simple. There's no difficulty to it. Your subconsciousness obeys the story that you give to your life. If you give it a story of defeat, that's what you will get. You'll be defeated. It will not war for you. If you give it a story of victory, it will go all out to war for you and make it come to pass. Yes, having a meaningful life, a meaningful job, a meaningful circumstance in life makes us happier and healthier. But it's not all the time that we have a meaningful circumstance in our life. Irrespective of what we get in life, we can make it meaningful. We can define it the way that it works for us. We can define it the way it empowers us. There's a story spoken about two sons, right? Two sons born to the same father, grew up in the same house, right? One turned out to be a good person. One turned out to be a bad person, just like the father. The father was a drunkard, physically abusive in the home, wasn't responsible, all of that. The one that was a failure said, wow, what else do you expect from me now? You see, my father is the example I followed, though. That's why my life turned out this way. The other brother said, I turned out good because I saw what I should not be. I saw the example of my father and saw that this is not the life I want. And because of my father, I turned out right. One said, I turned out wrong because of my father. He didn't show me a better example. The other one said, I turned out right because of my father. He showed me the way not to go. So you see, it's not what happened to you, it's what you do with it. It's not what you're looking at, it's what you see. Two of them were looking at their father, but they saw two different things. Life is not about what you're looking at, it's what you see. What you see is what changes your life. It's not what your life serves you, it's what you do with it. It's the definition you give to it. It's the way you spin the story. That is what empowers you or disempowers you. That's what determines whether you are victorious in life or not. So it doesn't matter what happens to you. It doesn't matter what kind of job you get. It doesn't matter what workplace you are in. It doesn't matter the kind of people that are there. You can still be victorious. There's no excuse for failure. You have no reason. You have no reason not to make it in life. You have no reason not to be successful in life. You have no reason not to be victorious in life. It doesn't matter which country you are in. It doesn't matter what state you are in. It doesn't matter what town you are in. It doesn't matter what city you are in. It doesn't matter what kind of work environment you are in. It doesn't matter if you are the only black person amongst white. It doesn't matter if you are the only white person amongst black. It doesn't matter if you are the only one from your tribe amongst other tribe. You can win in that circumstance. Because you can make something that is not meaningful. You are in charge of the story. You are in charge of what you see. It's not what you're looking at, it's what you see. That is the message you give to your subconsciousness. And it's your subconsciousness that brings about the victory in your life. It's your subconsciousness that brings about you being happier and healthier. And you are in control. It's whatever you tell to your subconsciousness that is going to bring to pass. You are in control. You can be happier. You can be healthier. You can turn a bad story to a good story. You can make something from anything that you have been served. It's not a card life serves you. It's what you do with it. Okay, I'm almost 1 hour. I'm going to stop here. Again today, we're going to continue. We didn't get off this first slide again today. That was where we stopped last week, but hopefully we'll do better next week. Obviously, we're not going to finish next week. This is going to go longer than I planned. I thought we're going to finish this in one sitting. No, it's going to 2 sitting. It's going to 3 sitting. It's going to 4 sitting. Probably go to 5 sitting. But like I say all the time, we're not in a hurry. We're not in a hurry. We want to get as much as we can. We want to soak it in, soak it in, soak it in, soak it in, soak it in. That's all we want to do. It's about change lives. It's not about just counting the times we meet. It's not about the topics. It's about change lives. It's about getting something that's meaningful, something that's usable, something we can apply, something we can use to win in life. We can use to war in life and win, war in life and win, war in life and win, war in life and win. That's all it's about. Feel free. I'm here on YouTube Live. It's going to be on Facebook. Here it's going to be here on Instagram Live. It's going to go to my reel. Feel free to add your own opinion to it. Ask any question you might have. And we can learn together. We can grow together. Right? I've learned life. I've lived life. Just like you have. And this is no place to do theory. This is real life. We're sharing here. So if there's something I've said that you don't see applicable in your life, or you think your life is so special that what I've said does not apply to it, feel free to share with me. You can do it publicly or privately. I have several pages. You can come chat with me. Feel free. This whole idea is about winning in life. It's not about just saying something that is good to be preached on the people, but useless in the marketplace. No. We're talking about something you can use in the marketplace, something you can use in your family, something you can use in your household, something you can use in your workplace. It's about making a difference and winning. That's all we're doing. God bless you. Shalom. Have a great week. See you the same time next week. God bless you. Bye-bye.